there has been some impropriety. I think that there are instances where Hunter Biden, in an attempt to show access to the vice presidency, the vice president's office, made phone calls to daddy. Those have been taped. I think we have the situation with his work in Ukraine. We have the situation with his work in China. There's no way that political influence wasn't a part of that.
But you have a legal note.
Oh, thank you. The White House has called the inquiry, quote, extreme politics at its worst, and said despite months of investigating, Republicans have found, quote, no evidence of wrongdoing. Hunter Biden has denied he did anything wrong by engaging in foreign work in Ukraine and China.
This video is brought to you by Birch Gold Group. Listen, Vladimir Putin called the U.S. dollar's drop in dominance objective and irreversible as Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa formally agree to use local currency in trading instead of the U.S. dollar. It's the first shoe to fall. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen. As demand of the dollar weakens, the buying power of the dollar weakens. That's why Birch Gold Group is busier than ever. Investors and savers are looking to harness the power of physical gold held in a tax-sheltered IRA. You can too. Text Brandon to 989898 for your free info kit on gold. With thousands of happy customers, an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and countless 5-star reviews, you can count on Birch Gold to help you navigate transitioning an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. As the U.S. dollar continues to receive pressure from foreign countries, digital currency, and central banks, arm yourself with information on how to protect your savings. Text Brandon to 989898 to claim your free info kit today. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notifications. You already know what to do. Let's get into this. All right, let me play a clip from these dummies on The View, because the Republicans on there are worse than these brain dead ones. All right, roll that clip.
Now, I'll say this, and some of you are going to like this. I think there's impropriety related to Biden's involvement with Hunter. I think there's been some misrepresentations. He said Hunter didn't make money from China. He said he had never met with any of his Ukrainian business partners, which he had. He bringing him to the state dinner, I think, was bad optics. I have yet to see, and this is me, Alyssa Fair, something that's evidence of a crime. The bar is high crimes and misdemeanors for impeachment. And let me just tell you, I know Congress very well. This is dead on arrival in the Senate.
Yeah,
there are not 65 votes to convict Joe Biden.
She is an idiot.
We're going to be shocked. I completely agree with that. I think that there has been some
more.
Shocking, right?
More, though.
I think that there has been some impropriety. I think that there are instances where Hunter Biden, in an attempt to show access to the vice presidency, the vice president's office, made phone calls to daddy. Those have been taped. I think we have the situation with his work in Ukraine. We have the situation with his work in China. There's no way that political influence wasn't a part of that. I don't like nepotism across the board. I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And so I understand that there is some real concern there. But what is upsetting to me is that Kevin McCarthy and this right-wing Republican Party is trivializing what impeachment is. High crimes and misdemeanors. Our former twice impeached, disgraced former president, accused of talking to President Zelensky of Ukraine and trying to do a quid pro quo and trade information for arms when his country was about to go into war with Russia. Don't you think that's pretty significant?
I'm done listening to this idiot. I mean, look at how stupid she is. That woman ain't did no research whatsoever. She's touting this high crime and misdemeanor stuff because it's a talking point. She ain't looked up nothing where it's interpreted what high crimes and misdemeanors are. Then she said a quid pro quo with Donald Trump and Zelensky. We saw the recording of what was said. Zelensky said he didn't try to do nothing against me. It was a clean phone call. So if he was trying to do a quid pro quo and put Zelensky in a bad situation, Zelensky would have said, yeah, he did try that. He said it was nothing there. Now, go to Biden. I already played the video of Biden doing a quid pro quo.
And I went over, I guess, the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee. And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
Sonny Hostin said, I do see that there were some things that had gone wrong in the Biden administration. There is some things that were suspicious, but the Republicans are pretty much making a mockery of an impeachment, of the impeachment process.
You know, the president has been in politics for a long time, and I think, as he would say, he's seen a lot of malarkey along the way, but this might take the cake.
This is all smoke and no fire.
What a waste of time and money.
I don't see any probable cause here. There's just no evidence.
I have not seen any evidence.
There's no evidence of any crime at all.
No evidence so far that ties Joe Biden to any of this, at least nothing that they have brought forward and that we have seen.
Have you seen said evidence?
No, not a scintilla of evidence.
There is not a shred of evidence that President Joe Biden has engaged in wrongdoing.
No business dealings of Hunter Biden's or anyone's was discussed in these conversations.
I think they're making it up.
There is not a shred of evidence that President Joe Biden has committed an impeachable offense.
A substantial majority of Americans believe something which is not true.
There is not a shred of evidence that President Joe Biden has committed a crime.
You got to have a crime. Like you got to have some accusation you can make, and they don't really have anything right now.
I think the impeachment inquiry is absurd.
I think that that's absurd. It's ridiculous, of course.
This is part of the right wing's misinformation machine to try to confuse people.
Distract, distort, dissemble. Right now, we're in the distract phase.
What Hunter Biden may or may not have done does not even come close to the level of legal drama that's facing the former president of the United States.
There's 91 criminal charges against Donald Trump right now, 13 criminal charges against Congressman Santos, who was just on the show a few moments ago. They have nothing to say about that. There are no charges against Joe Biden, and they want to impeach the guy.
Trump was impeached, so was Biden. You know, Trump was investigated, so was Biden. There's corruption.
This is an illegitimate impeachment inquiry. Period. Full stop.
This could benefit President Biden. This could end up having ramifications for Republicans if voters who don't really want to see these kinds of inquiries all the time feel like this is going too far.
The American people want us to do something that will make their lives better, not go off on these chases and witch hunts.
What planet are you smoking crack on? It can't be planet Earth, because you're talking about somebody that put up frivolous impeachment claims. We already know the first impeachment claim was bullcrap. Zelensky said there wasn't nothing wrong with the call. Trump released the call. The public could read the call, and it was nothing there. That's why their impeachment didn't go to the point of removal. And then they tried to impeach him one more time before he left office, talking about January 6th. The dude is in a text saying, do not be violent. What else can you say? You say, don't go do this, and they go do it, and it's his fault. That's like me telling my kid, don't you take your butt out of the house when I'm not here. You stay in the house till I get home, right? When I go to the store or something, I come back. And the kid run out of the house and do something, and it's my fault. As if I encouraged him to. I told him not to. He told them not to be violent, told them to be peaceful. We have a right in this country to protest. And they're going to blame him when he's on record saying don't do it. It's crazy to me. They think, at least they're trying to convince us, that somehow they can judge what's in his mind, in his subconscious. And you know, they try to say, well, his subconscious, he actually wanted them to actually breach the Capitol. So we need to arrest him on what his subconscious could have been thinking. Even though his conscious words were, do not protest, do not breach the Capitol, essentially. And somehow they impeached him, and these cackling hens on there saying that the Republicans are the ones that are playing with this impeachment thing. I think it's just stupid. I think it's foolish. I think it's idiotic. I think these people, I mean, they give me a lot of material. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how much money I've made on making videos about these cackling hens on The View. I mean, millions and millions of views on these videos because they just, every day they give me something to talk about because they're that ridiculous. Have some pride in what you're doing. It's okay to not like Trump. I mean, it's a lot of people that don't like Trump. Who cares? Have some pride in your statements. Look it up. I just looked it up. I said, I'm not going to come out and say, just make up something random about high crimes and misdemeanors. I'm just going to say something because I heard a Republican say it last year. It's like, I'm just going to do some research and look it up. And this right here is the Constitution. It's the article. It's Article 2, Section 4. I mean, I'm looking at the section of the Constitution, and it's a website that kind of explains some of or interprets the Constitution in certain ways, or interprets where you could find some of these things in the Constitution when it comes to impeachment and other things like that. I think it's reputable. I think it makes sense. And there's a precedent that has been set with impeachment. And if they did it to Trump, the precedent has been set. If they impeach Trump over his phone call with Zelensky, even though it was nothing there, they have to impeach Biden over him talking about a quid pro quo and talking about withholding loan guarantees because Ukraine had a prosecutor that was actively prosecuting his son, which we now know he was on the phone helping negotiate business deals for. Just the appearance of evil is enough to impeach him on this. And you don't even need that. Bribery is a crime. The dude is bribing people. And let me give you another example. There's an article. I just saw it. But anyway, I have to go back and find it. I think that what I was looking for is the article. It says, whistleblower says the CIA officials were paid to change their views on COVID. I think I was conflating those two things because I think that's what I had looked at. But regardless of that, there should be something to at least investigate. And that's exactly what the Republican Party need to do, and do it like yesterday.